So the United States presidential election is days away, and I wanted to take this opportunity to get something off my chest that has bothered me for quite a while about American politics, specifically in regards to the presidential election. Now, I realize that some of the people who watch my videos are not from the United States. For those of you not familiar with United States politics, or maybe you just failed your civics class, one could be forgiven for mistaking the presidential election for electing the King of America. I'm amongst the people who not only thinks that the American executive branch has become too powerful, but that our public expectations of what the executive branch is and should do has become overinflated. So, for example, the biggest topic in this election is the economy. What exactly is the relationship between the executive branch and the economy? Now, technically speaking, the President of the United States of America is not supposed to introduce laws. He can suggest laws, which he has other people introduce, and they may or may not pass Congress. The role of the President is in part a military role, it is in part a judicial role, is in part as a check against Congress to sign or veto legislation, and several other things like that. But when we talk about the presidency in the United States, we get these crazy hypocritical lies like you see from Mitt Romney, but it's not even that he's deliberately trying to lie, it's that there's no real way to tell the truth given public expectation. It's a truism that politicians are liars, but few people ever stop and ask themselves, well, why do they lie and what do they lie about? I would say that they lie because we, the public, the voters, make them liars. So, in one of the most recent presidential debates, Mitt Romney says, within the space of the same debate, that he is going to create jobs if he becomes president, and that the government does not create jobs. Now, of course, the idea that the government doesn't create jobs in a literal sense is absurd. The federal government employs thousands, if not millions of people, either directly or indirectly. But I think what he's getting at is more the classical debate in American politics of Keynesian economics versus Friedmanite economics, or however free market economics, however you'd like to put it, where essentially one party believes that government stimulus can grow the economy and create jobs, while the other takes the position that if you have a hands-off approach to the economy, that will allow the economy to flourish if it's free from restriction. So in principle, Mitt Romney believes that no government is the best government, or less government is better in regards to the economy, and that the government can't have really a positive influence on the economy except through its own negative influence of not doing anything. I know that I don't know if I'm making this clear, so maybe you want to look up, the differences in economics on your own, and I'll maybe post a link in the description. But he cannot, given the political climate and what voters expect from him, he cannot simply say, look, it's not really the president's job to fix the economy. The government isn't really supposed to have a role in the economy in that sort of direct fashion. I, as the president, can't really create jobs. It's beyond the scope of the position of the office. He can't say that. He has to go out and say, I'm going to create jobs. I mean, the president, whoever's running for president, might as well just come out and say, I'm going to create jobs. Everyone's going to be employed. Everyone's going to have, chicken dinner on the table, or, however Roosevelt put it. And everyone's going to have a kitten or puppy if they want one. And, there's going to be candy for everyone. It reminds me of the, I don't remember what show it was, but I saw some sort of sitcom taking place in like a junior high, and you have somebody running for class president, and they make all these outrageous demands like recess is going to be all day long, and lunch period is going to be 2 hours, and there's going to be pizza every day for lunch, and just all these outrageous things that the school would never actually agree to, and that the class president could never actually make happen. They promise more than they can deliver. They promise more than is the scope of the position that they're trying to hold. And we as Americans, I feel, buy into this, because there's a substantial number of people who do not really want to engage in the democratic process. The democratic process is broad. The president and the presidential election isn't all there is to government. It isn't all there is to democracy. There's the legislative branch. The judicial branch is related to the executive branch, and we don't elect them directly. But regardless, there's the federal government, state government, local government. There's layers of government, and really, to get what you want out of government, you have to engage it through all these different avenues at all these different levels. But that's hard work. People want to go, I'm going to cast a vote for that guy, and he's going to wave his magic president wand, and everything's going to be the way I want. And I think, to me, this bothers me more than the typical complaints that people throw out around the time of the presidency, like, oh, we have a two-party system and we only have two choices that are really more or less the same choice, and we don't have real choice. I think that's even the wrong approach. We should be asking ourselves, wait a minute, is it really the job of the president to do X, Y, and Z, all these things that they're promising? Or is this more just telling people what they want to hear to win the office? Now, of course, the executive branch has been expanding in power since its conception, and President Bush massively expanded executive power, including in some incredibly frightening ways regarding civil liberties. I'm sure most of you already know what I'm talking about. But I think that in order to have a more robust and meaningful democracy in America, people have to get beyond this idea that voting for a president is going to fix everything, that it's a sustained engagement in a process that involves multiple levels. But I think people are, one of the crucial flaws in democracy essentially is human laziness, and they want this sort of, one vote for one person is going to be the resolution to all my problems, and that's just incredibly overinflated expectations, and I don't really think that's healthy for the country or for democracy. And when we blame the president because the jobs go, because unemployment goes up or the economy goes down or whatever it is, we should seriously ask ourselves, well, wait a minute, what exactly is the relationship between A and B, and is it even worth blaming the president for this? And I'm using the economy as an example, but in this country we seem to either credit or blame the president for everything, even if it's really beyond the scope of what they actually influence. And I think that's a misconception that should be addressed by the public, and we should, sort of put the presidency back into perspective and put democracy back into perspective, and then maybe that way we can actually get things done by engaging it in a more constructive way than just going, well, I'm going to vote for the president, and that's it. So that's my rant about the presidency, links in the description, all that happy stuff. Have a nice day.